And hello everybody, happy Cyber Sunday. My name is Michael Farnham. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving, getting ready for the rest of the holiday season. So wanted to talk today about something I actually missed, and I'm a little bit ashamed of myself. I think it got launched back in November, which is the OWASP Top 10 for CI/CD pipelines. So if you're not familiar with OWASP, that's Open Web Application Security Project's been around a while. They created this top 10 list mid 2000s sometime, can't remember exactly, that was all about kind of giving the breakdown of the top 10 threats they saw in, or vulnerabilities they saw in web applications as they got developed. That moved around and became projects for different areas. There's been video game top 10, if you can believe it. There's an API top 10. There's a couple of other OWASP top 10. So it's not just web application security, but the OWASP label has kind of stayed there. And now they have one out called for the CI/CD pipeline top 10. So CI/CD, if you're not familiar with that term, continuous integration, continuous development, essentially the pipeline of tools and processes for a developer to be able to take their code from being on their desktop all the way to production, being deployed, being used, whether that's web application, whatever that is, traditionally, well, nowadays it's almost always web application, but it can be other applications as well. So that pipeline is extremely important these days and is actually, I don't want to say neglected or ignored, it just hasn't, the security tools haven't caught up with it. So as a developer begins development on their integrated development environment on their desktop or wherever they're developing from, and that moves through the development process, and they have pieces of code from different repositories, maybe open source repositories, that kind of stuff that gets integrated into that. All of those pieces, and now it has a lot of the infrastructure as code that's in there as well. So if you're deploying into the cloud, maybe using Terraform scripts or something like that to build that environment where it's going to get deployed, that's infrastructure as code. That's in the CI/CD pipeline as well. All of those pieces in the pipeline, all of the tooling, all of where the code sits, where the code comes from, if it's not written natively by the developer, which a lot of it's not, it's pulling from some kind of repository somewhere. All of those things have been really big lately in breaches over the last couple of years, in SolarWinds and several other ones that you would recognize probably if you're paying attention in this industry. Just huge things, all came down to supply chain attacks, generally just all included in the CI/CD pipeline, how that code gets written, integrated, developed, deployed, all of those things in the CI/CD pipeline. So that's important that it got launched. What does that mean? Well, I think generally overall it's a good thing, because it is creating more of a sense of, hey, there's more thought going into securing the CI/CD pipeline. That's a good thing. That's already been happening, but it's having an OWASP top 10 for it is good. That's a good thing to have, draws attention to it. What does that mean for developers? Developers can be quick to be tempted to say, okay, well, now you're going to be inserting security in every single piece of the pipeline. You're going to be getting in my way. You're going to stop things. 100% understand how that can be a fear. We've got to create tools, and already have, and a lot of them have been created. Some of them still need to be created, and processes that run at that same speed and have minimal interruption or any of that to the CI/CD pipeline as developers are pushing out code and trying to get things done. These tools and processes have to move at the same speed as development does. So I think that lesson generally has been learned. So as developers, I wouldn't get too worried about it unless you just got a security department that just loves stopping things. And that's the case, you got a whole other problem. But for security people, it absolutely means there's more focus going to be put on that. I say it does. OWASP is not as big as it used to be, but it's still a very good place to get a lot of good information. So overall, OWASP top 10 CI/CD pipeline project, I think, is a good thing. I don't think developers need to worry about it too much, because there are a lot of tools that have already been developed over the last few years that are moving at that same speed. People know it. Now that the project is there, I think that'll help things. Let me know what you think. Talk to you next time.